CIG has just dumped a lot of information about the upcoming Misc Expanse refining ship. And today I want to talk about how I think that is going to change the face of mining in Star Citizen. Today's video is brought to you by GameGlass. With GameGlass you can take control of your ship using a tablet or a phone. You can try out some of the free pre-made shards, or you can also make your own custom shards and share them with the community through the built-in marketplace. So gone are the days where you have no more rooms for all your key bindings. On top of that, GameGlass also supports other games like Elite Dangerous, so follow the link in the video description and try GameGlass for free. Use the offer code DTEA to get 5% off any purchase. Hello ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Star Citizen. Today I want to talk about the Misc Expanse. And first I just want to get everybody up to speed in case you haven't really been paying attention or haven't been following this ship at all. It is a refining ship, meaning it plays the same role as the refineries we have on some stations, but only now it's on board a ship you can take it with you out, which is awesome. It's a one-person ship, one crew members, this is what it's designed for. It has 6 refineries on board, so that's 6 individual refining processes that can run at the same time. It has 8 saddlebags on the side, and we know the saddlebags are 8 SCU each, giving it a total cargo space of 64 SCU of cargo. And it will have a tractor beam on the back to pull in saddlebags from a prospector or whatever to take in ore into the refineries. Now, we don't know how quick these refining processes are, but we do get some indications in the recently relaunched Q&A. They say they're going to be significantly faster than what we have on the stations, which makes sense. They should be if they wanted to make it balanced. So the process again can both be automated or a manual process. It seems like you have a choice. Again, we don't know how quick these processes are going to be. But if we look at one of the screenshots, or the screenshots, not, it's concept art. Look at the concept art. We can see a timer there at 1 minute and 20-ish seconds before the thing is done. Now, this doesn't mean that it's going to be that's the actual time it takes, but I have a gut feeling that the refining times for one batch is going to be around 10 minutes. So I sat down and thought, okay, let's try to assume that it's 10 minutes, just for a little thought experiment here, right? One refinery that can do a batch every 10 minutes, meaning it can do 6 batches per hour, with 6 refineries, meaning you can do 36 batches in an hour. Assuming a experienced miner can probably bring back 2 batches per hour, so every half hour they come back with a full batch of ore that can be refined. That means that a Misc Expanse, which is supposed to be the smallest refining ship, there's going to be more later, but this is supposed to be the smallest one, that means that a single Misc Expanse can support a fleet of 16 prospectors. Now, that didn't sound right to me. That sounds way too high for the smallest ship. I don't think that was right. But that was when I realized that I've made an oversight. You see, what we know is that it's going to have this tractor beam in the back. So it's going to be able to tractor in 1 saddlebag at a time, 8 SCU of cargo. And that is probably the amount that can go into a refinery. You can probably take 1 saddlebag into 1 refinery. And that means that when a prospector comes in, if it's full with all its saddlebags full of ore, it's not just going to take up 1 refinery. You're likely going to have to spread it out across 4 refineries, because that's how many saddlebags are on the prospector. And that means those potentially 16 ships that we were looking at before has now been reduced to 4 ships, which seems more reasonable to me given the size of the ship. However, there is another problem with this, and that is those 64 SCU of cargo. You're going to run out of space real quick. 2 full prospectors worth of ore after it's been refined is exactly the same. I mean, like maybe there's some inert materials you can throw away, but let's assume they come back with a perfect load. Then 2 prospectors and you're full. You're done. You can't carry any more. That means for the Expanse to work, the way I see this being efficient is that the Expanse is going to be a relatively stationary thing. You're going to park that in the vicinity of where people are going to be mining when you're going out mining with a fleet. When people are done mining, they're going to make it to the Expanse, where they're going to transfer their ore over. The Expanse is going to sit there, refine, and as soon as it's done with refining and is full, it's going to be heavily relying on cargo ships coming up, picking up the full saddlebags, and carry those to a sell location where those materials can be sold. Now, you might think, oh, but if the cargo ship goes away with the saddlebags, then the prospect or the Expanse has no place to put all this stuff, so it has to wait for it to come back. And it would, but luckily CIG did think of this. They actually, seems like they actually thought about the design before they published it. They made it in such a way that there are 2 saddlebags stacked on top of each other. These saddlebags are made of cloth, like some heavy-duty cloth, and that means they can be collapsed and be folded in. And the way these saddlebags work is there's 2 saddlebags stacked on top of each other. You start by filling up the lower one, that expands out and fills up. When it fulls, you take it out and another ship brings it with it to sell. That means you have that second one, you can begin to fill those up. And then hopefully that cargo ship's gonna come back with the empty saddlebags before you are done filling up your next batch. You can do the switcheroo and you have to swap those back and forth. And then while they go away with the full ones, you have a set of empty saddlebags on board your ship. So you can continue that cycle and you can continue to support the mining fleet. But you are going to be very reliant on having a constant flow of transport ships coming, picking up ore. Otherwise, the whole thing's going to ground to a halt. Another thing to consider is the whole economic of this. Because does it really make sense to go through all these hoops of refining at a ship and having transport ships? Other than that, it sounds quite fun to try and manage a fleet like that. Does it really make sense? Now, from the miner's perspective, you have to remember that the way it's working is when you transfer the ore, much in the same way that when you transfer fuel from the Starfarer, they are being the people getting the fuel, they are paying for it right away as it's being transferred. And the way I understand it is it's going to be a similar system with ore. So when people are handing over ore to the Expanse can actually set buy prices for the different ores that they want to pay for it. And as people deliver it, they're going to get paid right away. That means for the miner, they have either the choice to go back to a refinery, refine the ore themselves at the refinery and pay the fees there, and then once it's done a day later or something like that, they can pick up their own cargo ship and they can fly it down to whatever sell location they want to and then sell it from there. Now all that flying around and going to refineries and that stuff, that takes time, that's time where they can't mine. Whereas if you go to an Expanse, you're going to get paid right away, upfront. Deliver raw ore, get money. No refining times, no cargo needed. You just go out in your prospector, you come back, you get paid. Now you can do the same thing on the refineries. You can't just sell the ore directly without refining. If you do so, you only get paid 50%. Now I don't think people are going to be willing to take that much of a hit on price in order for that convenience of getting paid right away. Otherwise, people would use that ability a lot more, I think. So I don't think that's going to be that popular. And I discussed it with you guys a lot on one of my live streams that we were sitting discussing back and forth, because there's a whole supply chain here that all needs to get paid. Like the mining ship needs to get paid. There's likely going to be some waste from the process. We'll probably not be able to refine it 100%. The person owning the refinery ship should get paid as well. Then there's the transporter, who actually running one of the biggest risks, because the transport ship is the one carrying all the valuable ore away from the mining sites and into the cities where you want to sell it. And that process is where you are the most exposed to pirates, where you have the most cargo, at least the highest value cargo, and you are exposed to pirates. So the hauler is actually running a relatively big risk, and obviously he needs to get paid. And well, since he is running a risk, maybe he want to pay off some kind of protection, fighter protection, to fly with the hauling ship. So you can see we have a whole lot of people that all needs to get a cut of this. But do let me know in the comment section, what do you guys think of the Expanse? How do you think it's going to play, and how are you planning to use it if you're planning to get one? Post it down below. And while you're heading down there, also please go ahead and subscribe to the channel. Thanks a lot for watching, and also next time, I will see you guys in space.